Welcome back into the channel and welcome in for another Wednesday podcast with my guy, JaVon. JaVon, the people missed you last week. We also got told in the comment section that we need to come up with a name. So I want to dedicate some time right now for us to decide a name for the podcast. I didn't even tell you we were going to do this
Yeah.
off the cuff. I've been thinking about some names. I had a podcast before called First and 30. We could always just rip one of those names. It's football related. Um, I thought unnecessary roughness, kind of a penalty name. Maybe we start being a little bit harder on some teams. Is there anything that comes to your mind? I guess I won't make us decide right now. We'll shoot
Yeah.
out some ideas, and I want everybody that watches these podcasts in the comment section below to type the name that you think it should be, and we will have one decided for next week. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Football related, First and 30, unnecessary roughness, um, coach's challenge, whatever, something
Hey,
football related.
you know what's crazy? I was meaning to text you about this like last week. I don't know why I just forgot, but I remember the first time you brought it up, like a couple of weeks ago. You was like, you know what? We do need a name for it. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about it too. But I'll shoot you a couple of names too. And if the people in the comments have a couple better names, then shit, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we definitely got to come up with a name. But as we always do on a Wednesday, it is 6 lessons that we learned from NFL Week 4 action. It's kind of just a way for us to talk about a little bit different topics than you'll see on general media. We'll talk about some of the big names, of course, if we see that. But when we watched the NFL this week, our 3 biggest takeaways were blank. That's basically the way that the Wednesday pods work. My first take here is kind of week 4, but it's a lot on the whole season. Week 4 just really cemented it to me. In this NFL season, special teams matters more than ever before. Whether it is the number of consistent field goal blocks that we have seen this year, where we watched the Eagles beat the Rams on that Jordan Davis block, the Bears beat the Raiders on a field goal block. I feel like we are seeing 3 to 4 to 5 field goal blocks a week at this point. We saw the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football block an extra point and return it for 2 in a game that ultimately ended in a tie. So that prevented the Cowboys from losing the football game as well. Dynamic kickoffs. You have a lot of these kickers right now kicking knuckleballs that are really affecting returners, really affecting where drives are starting, and they change a lot of different things. Statistically, if you start within, I believe, your first 20 yards, you have about a 25% shot to score. If you're in the 20 to 30, it's like a 35% shot to score. And if you're in 40 to 50, you're basically at a 50-50 shot to score. And these knuckle kicks are making it so if you take the touchback, you're at the 20, which obviously isn't good odds to score, but returning it isn't easy either. So that's another aspect of special teams. And then these kickers, man, because now the K balls are getting to be prepped ahead of time, which basically is the balls that the kickers are getting to use. Last season, they had to be prepped by the staff on game day. There was no time with them before. Now, these balls are getting to be prepped all week by the team. The kickers are getting to practice with them. They're getting to wear them in. And that is why we're seeing such a boom in kicks right now. Chase McLaughlin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just this past Sunday hit the longest kick ever in the NFL outside at 65 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles. And he netted that shit like it was nothing, dude. like Vic Fangio talked about this in his press conference for the Eagles, so I watched him go on about it. But he said, one, there's going to be a 70-yard field goal kicked this year. He said it's probably going to be by Brandon Aubrey in Dallas, but he said it's definitely coming this year. But 2, he said it really affects how defensive coordinators look at the game now, because where scoring range is not where it used to be. It used to be you had to get to the 35 to 40-yard line of the opposing team to feel like you're in field goal range. Nowadays, you pass midfield and it's like, shit, we could give it a try.
Yeah.
So special teams, I think this year more than any year matters a ton in the NFL, and I don't really have a problem with it. I think that these punters and kickers could see a massive pay spike because having an excellent kicker, if you have a kicker like Brandon Aubrey who not only can kick 70-yard field goals, but is mastering that knuckleball kick where he's also, because think about it, if you had a defender on your defense that you knew every drive was going to create a negative 10-yard play for the opposing offense, how much would you pay that guy? Because that's what these kickers are doing.
Basically.
So these kickers, I think, are due for a massive pay bump. Shout out Pat McAfee, hashtag for the brand. But special teams is now can't miss in the NFL, which is exactly what they wanted with these new kickoff rules.
So if you kick the ball out of bounds, it goes to the 40, right?
Yep. So you have to be good at that knuckleball shit too.
Yeah. So I mean, even if it goes to the 40, man, you're talking you're talking 5 yards potentially field goal range. Like
nah.
You never even like a first down.
Maybe Aubrey, but
Yeah.
a first down and you're basically there. A first down and you could run the ball 3 times and you could try it.
Yeah, I mean, the Aubrey, we saw little in the preseason. These dudes are getting to midfield, man, and it's good, you know.
Yeah.
And it seems like we see a 60-yard, at least one made every single week.
Other fan bases feel this way, but as an Eagles fan, I obviously saw Jake Elliott more in his prime in 2017. Last year, Jake Elliott really struggled with field goals of 50-plus yards. Yeah. This year, with these new rules, with the K balls, Jake Elliott's been nails from 50-plus yards. Like he's looked like it's brought him back to his prime, the way he's kicking right now, which is insane.
And then the kickers who are struggling, it makes you wonder, like, what in the world? You have all the time.
Yeah.
Now you actually have every single advantage now. And
the only thing that I'll say is, if you want to be an NFL kicker, yes, going to college and kicking is something. Playing soccer might be a great route to that's where Brandon Aubrey came from. And he's the best kicker in football right now. But special teams, man, that's my big lesson. Like, you can't miss, like, every unit on a football field has always mattered, but special teams matters now more than ever.
I think the really blocked field goals are even crazier than the field goals, than making the field goals, honestly.
Well, I've heard a couple different NFL players talk about the blocked field goals, and it's not that I don't respect NFL players, but sometimes when they talk, I think I take it with a grain of salt because I just think that they're talking out there, you know what, sometimes. They say it's like all the additional prep they're having to do for other things. Teams aren't as focused in on the process of kicking a field goal now because there's so much other things that their attention is going to in special teams prep, like kick returns and just different things. And they're saying it's getting easier to trip up, like to block the kick because the other team isn't as prepared.
That's what about that.
I think it's BS. I just think that, but also we're seeing it at such a high rate right now that there's got to be something. I mean, maybe it's just coincidence. We'll see if it lasts the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, teams are definitely going to, if they're not putting emphasis on it now, they're going to start putting emphasis on it by at least like week 8, mid-season, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All your special teams processes need to be tip-top shape this season. What's your first lesson from week 4?
So my first lesson, well, we're going to talk about Baltimore later, but if anything, this Baltimore versus Chiefs game that just happened this past Sunday, I think I'm almost ready to say that Josh Allen is the best quarterback. Only because, listen, if we're talking...
I can't wait for my next lesson.
Listen, if it's for one game, of course I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes, but regular season, I think the best quarterback right now for the regular season is Josh Allen. And that's only because I look at the difference in the Chiefs offense from when Xavier Worthy is not there as opposed to when he just came back. And I'm not going to lie. Every time Patrick Mahomes has gotten blown out, it seems like, I get it, he does carry his team to a certain extent. But when the odds are kind of stacked against him and there's players missing, he doesn't really like overcome that. And I look at the talent deficit that the Bills have right now, and it's clearly their number one receiver is it's almost like the Cam Newton season, his MVP season, man, because Keon Coleman is not a solidified number one receiver. They don't have a number one
I think
receiver.
James Cook's a really solid weapon,
Yeah,
but
he
in
is.
terms of receiving threats, I completely hear you. Josh Allen, I want people to hear what I'm going to say here, because in my quarterback rankings, I still have Mahomes number one. But Josh Allen, for a regular season, is the best offensive engine an NFL team can have, because his floor is the highest of any quarterback in football with what he's doing with his receiving options. Because when Rashee Rice is back from suspension, Patrick Mahomes has a better receiving core than Josh Allen. Right now, it's up for debate, but with Rashee Rice out there, Patrick Mahomes' receiving core is better. What Josh Allen can give you week to week, spreading the ball out, he doesn't make mistakes anymore. He still has a cannon of an arm. And what he can give you on the ground, the floor for your offense every week feels like it's at least 3 scores with Buffalo.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine Buffalo ever being in a spot where we look at them the way we looked at Kansas City a couple of times last year and early this season, where we were like, is their offense a problem? I don't think we'll ever get there with Buffalo.
I mean, you look at Baltimore, and it's just like, man, like in big games, they just Lamar especially, he just seems rattled, man. So even in the regular season, there are big important games in the regular season, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But it's just like Josh Allen, he's going to show up every game, and when they lose, it's not his fault. I promise you that. It's not going to be his fault. And you just look at Patrick Mahomes, and when he doesn't have all his weapons, I'm not comparing him to other quarterbacks, but when he doesn't have all his weapons, you can clearly see that there's a problem. I mean, of course, they lost Tyreek Hill and won the Super Bowl the next year at the number one offense. But as of recently,
he doesn't need a stacked offense, but he needs pieces around him.
I mean, I don't see any world beaters out there in Buffalo. James Cook is having the best season of his career right now, and that does help Josh Allen out a whole lot.
He's just carried over. Their offense is two-dimensional. I did my tier list today, and for those who have not seen it yet, you could pause and go watch it or just get the spoiler here. But Buffalo was one of 2 teams in the Super Bowl favorites tier. I think that there's only 2 teams in that top tier of the NFL right now. And I think Buffalo is up there because Josh Allen, who was the MVP of football last year, is the MVP of football if it ended today.
He's the favorite, right?
Yeah, and I know that their division isn't stacked by any means, although your Patriots that you picked to be good seem to be starting to figure it out. You could argue that they should have beat your Steelers, but they didn't. But 5 fumbles. But
crazy.
That division, I don't see Allen losing it anytime in the rest of the 2020s, man. I just think he's going to run the table year after year, win 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games, be a top 2 seed in the AFC. And if he can get over the hump of beating Kansas City in a playoff game, we will call him the best player in the world. But as things currently stand, as an offensive engine, if you told me, Dylan, your job is to pick a quarterback who will get us the best record throughout the regular season, I'm taking Josh Allen if I don't know what else is around him.
I mean, he's proven it, like Lamar Jackson, and I know I keep saying Lamar, but let's be honest, nobody's really at this point comparing Josh Allen to Mahomes. It's really him versus Lamar because everyone views Mahomes as, he's in his own tier. And honestly, now the gap is just getting bigger and bigger. And this past Sunday did not help their case at all, especially, going into the season, everyone's saying they have the number 1 roster on paper. I mean, if you want to rank rosters, like just offenses alone, like where does Buffalo rank without the quarterback? Like just the weapons.
Yeah,
it's pretty
probably
crazy.
the bottom half of the league, I would say.
Yeah.
And just one final point on it, because I think people might misinterpret what we're saying. You mentioned it, 1 game for your life. There's no better winner right now in terms of success in 1 game sample sizes than Patrick Mahomes. But what we're discussing here is who can you trust more to carry your team throughout a regular season? And that answer through a month you were saying has become Josh Allen. At least that's how I interpreted what you said. Are you saying something differently?
No. I'm saying that, but ironically, I think Jalen Hurts is pretty high on that list as of right now for me as well. And
I mean,
that might be a little controversial to some people.
What's he now? 18-0 in his last 18 starts, start to finish.
Yeah, so
I mean that's something.
It's got to count for something.
I don't have any Jalen Hurts topics, so maybe you do that we'll talk about later. My second lesson that I learned in week 4 that I learned is a stretch because I'm going to take my victory lap. I told anybody and everybody who would listen that this lesson was going to be learned by the masses this weekend, and it was. Don't ever count out Mahomes and the Chiefs, man. Don't ever. After a 1-2 start, I had to hear the sky is falling. This team, I did my tier list, had them in Super Bowl contender, and people were like, "You need to move them out of there. They're not a real contender." And I had to look at the people in the video and say, "Settle down," because Patrick Mahomes, man. At the end of the day, the Baltimore game, what was my analysis going into it? Which quarterback do I trust more? Mahomes. Which head coach do I trust more? Andy Reid. Which defense do I trust more? The Chiefs. All right, man. As soon as the Chiefs get their weapons back, they're going to be a top-tier team in the AFC again. And I will never overreact to a small sample size stumble from Kansas City again. I think it's possible that Kansas City is 3-3 in 2 weeks and loses to Detroit. It's on the board. I still won't count them out. Kansas City can get into the playoffs at 10-7 and be a wild card team, and you won't see me going, they have no shot. As long as Mahomes, Reed, and Spags are on that team, I'll never count out the Chiefs again. And they put belt to ass on the Baltimore Ravens.
Honestly, I don't even think people are surprised by it. I just think people want the Chiefs to lose and have that drop off so bad. They're like, oh my gosh, the Ravens. They're all caught up in the names that the Ravens have. But when does Lamar, what is he, 1-6 against Mahomes in his career or against the Chiefs? Or it's something like this, something crazy, you know? I don't even think he's beating Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken. But it's crazy, man. And honestly, I think this says more about the Baltimore Ravens than it does the Chiefs, because the Chiefs just took care of business, man. They got their number 1 wide receiver back, and you could tell immediately in the game. And the Ravens have on paper the worst defense in football. So, and that's crazy considering I mean, I get it, they were all banged up. But like, man, nobody.
But they were bad. No, but they were bad the 2 weeks before that when they were healthy. Listen, the fact that they got hurt in that Kansas City game is obviously not good. But they were healthy when Buffalo came back and dropped 41 on them.
Buffalo does. I mean, they played some good offenses as well. It's just nobody was expecting what happened Sunday to happen.
Well, I'm not counting Baltimore out of the playoffs. I mean, Vegas still has them favored to win their division. I know as a Steelers fan, you probably take some level of disrespect from that. But
honestly, I don't. They do have a tough schedule.
But their losses have come to good teams. Yeah. Detroit, Kansas City, Buffalo, like those are Super Bowl contending teams.
Yeah, I mean, and then the Chiefs, man, they still have a pretty rough patch, a gauntlet. Still, they have a couple of hard games in there, and they still haven't played any division games, I don't think. So, in their division, I mean, you got some high hopes for the Chargers and the Broncos. So we're gonna see how everything turns out. But I think both teams make the playoffs and they will be okay. I think a lot of people lost confidence in Baltimore after what just happened.
Yeah, understandably so, but I think you should gain confidence in Kansas City by how well they performed. Yeah, so we had to take a quick break there, some technical difficulties, but flat out, don't count out Patrick Mahomes, don't count out the Chiefs. I won't hear about it ever again. JaVon, your second lesson from week 4 of the NFL season.
My second lesson was going to be referring to the Baltimore versus Kansas City game. And I just don't think that the Baltimore Ravens should be considered serious, like the tier of contenders. Not just yet, man. And I get it. They kind of got off to a slow start last year as well when they lost to the Raiders. They started off a little bit slow, and then towards the end they picked it up a little bit. But I don't think this is. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens defense is buying into Zach Ward's system. I don't, and they have all of these names, and even before the injuries, it seems like they couldn't put it together. And it should be easy to put it together with all the talent that you have. And for some reason, the Ravens just can't do it. There's people now coming for Harbaugh's job saying that, if he can't get it done with Lamar, then he should be out of here. I hear some Ravens fans saying that he should have gotten fired 6-7 years ago, and getting Lamar saved his job. I've heard a lot. So we don't even know, man, what their fans are truly thinking. But apparently they've been wanting him gone for a minute now.
All right, a lot to unpack there. Are the Baltimore Ravens fraudulent in terms of being Super Bowl contenders? I would say yes. To me, they are a great regular season team that I can't trust to go on a playoff run ever. 1,000% agree with you there. Lamar Jackson can only do so much on the offense. Through the first 3 weeks of the season, they had scored the most points in the NFL, and they were 1-2. That is a direct reflection of having a very terrible defense that can't stop a nosebleed, which that has to fall at the feet of Zach Orr, and it has to fall at the feet of John Harbaugh, because we know that the players on the defense are good. We have seen them all be good in different spots. They didn't all just fall off at the exact same time. There's rookies on that defense. There's guys in the prime of their career, like Roquan Smith. Obviously, the Matabuke injury really does hurt them, and he's now out for the season. So I don't see the defense getting better now that Marlon Humphrey and Roquan Smith are going to miss time. Matabuke out for the season. Nate Wiggins got banged up. I don't even think we have an update on his status at this point in time. And now Lamar's out 2 to 3 weeks. Are they going to be able to go into Houston and win a game with Cooper Rush at quarterback against that pass rush with that defense? They might have just saved the Houston Texans season. I mean,
that's crazy.
So for Baltimore fans that might see this video, because I might have clicked you in on the thumbnail to get you to this point. At the end of the day, this team has failed too many times with the same cast of people to me. And it's not that I think John Harbaugh is a bad coach, but you're not picking him over Lamar. So to me, promote Todd Monken to head coach, because I think the offensive system is good. I know there's some Ravens fans that don't like the system. Maybe you completely clear house, but the coaching staff need to shake up after this year if they don't miraculously turn this around. I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that. I think Harbaugh could go coach somewhere else, but his time in Baltimore should come to an end.
Yeah, and look, I got two final things. Number one, this kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened to the Detroit Lions last year, because the Lions last year, they had the offense, the defense was banged up early on, and then it just got worse. And then like Aiden Hutchinson was like the final straw.
But they won 15 games. Baltimore already can't win 15 games.
Yeah, I mean, and secondly, how many times are we going to see like the same thing with, they don't stick to the game plan against the elite teams. Why does Derrick Henry have 4 carries at halftime? Like, what are we doing? Why does Derrick Henry end the game with 8 carries? And this is 3 games in a row now. He's had less than 50 yards, which hasn't happened since like 2019 or 2018. Like, it's incredible. How do you have a running back of his caliber and you're just not using him? And then Lamar's clearly rattled. That's all the reason to want to run the ball more. Lamar he didn't know what to do on the sideline, man. He was rattled clearly.
Yeah. I think Derrick Henry didn't get to run the ball a lot against the Chiefs because they were down by 20 plus points, which maybe you got down that way. Though. Yeah, maybe you got down that way because you didn't stick to the scheme. It's not the first time we've seen Kansas City completely rattle Baltimore out of running the ball, which was their bread and butter. Derrick Henry's too talented to not be an excellent player. Lamar, again, I'm not calling out that defenses have figured out Lamar Jackson. I don't think that that's the case. However, what Detroit did against him on Monday night with rushing 3, playing an athletic linebacker at quarterback spy, and basically running a cover 3, cover 4 drop and saying, stand in the pocket long enough for one of your receivers to beat us, but Lamar doesn't like to do that, and then they took the scrambling away. Kansas City took a lot of that too. Spags obviously mixed in some all-out blitzes because that's what Spags does, but there's a formula to slow down this Ravens offense, and if you could just slow down this Ravens offense a little bit with how poor their defense is, they're going to lose a lot of football games that way, with or without Lamar Jackson, because their whole team was predicated on Lamar being perfect to win football games right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but it kind of seems like the teams that, I mean, this is kind of common sense, but it kind of seems like the teams that Lamar plays the most are kind of the ones that can show his weaknesses. Like the Steelers, he's like 3-5 career against the Steelers. Everyone knows they're in the same division. They play each other twice a year. So, of course, they would know how to figure him out. He plays the Chiefs every year, it seems like. Sometimes even twice in the season. Now the Chiefs, you see, it seems like he kind of got exposed there. He's played the Lions for the last couple of seasons as well. And you can just see like the trend, like slowly but surely, they're starting to figure him out, it seems like, at least when it matters.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then Detroit never played him, and I just think their defensive coordinator did a really solid job against him. Baltimore, they're untrustworthy. It starts at the defense, but the offense hasn't been perfect lately either. And, we know Derrick Henry is a premier player, but he is 31. He is a running back. He does have a lot of miles on him. It's possible we're seeing a decline in the play of Derrick Henry, and that would be even worse. I don't know. The fumbling does have me like that's on him. That's not on anybody else on the team. That's not on scheme.
Yeah.
Like you're fumbling the ball away, which we haven't seen him do. Maybe he's just in his head about that, and that's leading to less explosive runs. The whole Ravens thing is out of whack, and with the injuries that they have on defense and Lamar hurt now, I don't think it's out of the question that they are who the Niners were last year and missed the playoffs and win 6-7 games. I'll say that. And
I mean, yeah.
listen, as an NFL fan, as a guy who loves Lamar, I want to see him in the playoffs. I promise you. This isn't done to just shit on the Baltimore Ravens, but we got to call a spade, and this game this weekend told us a lot. I'm sticking in the AFC North with my third lesson. My third lesson that I learned was another thing that I was right on, but even further now. If the Cincinnati Bengals don't make a move for Jameis Winston or any other quarterback, they are committing a war crime against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and their general manager should be fired. In this situation,
there's other quarterbacks out there too.
In this situation, the way that the AFC is currently positioned, you are 2-2. The teams with better records than you are Buffalo, who is going to be a playoff team. The Chargers, who are going to be a playoff team. The Colts, who I think are going to be a playoff team, but 2 of their wins have come against the Dolphins and Titans. So we'll see.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, whose quarterback I don't think I would trust with $5 on the line, let alone my life, by any means necessary. The receivers have drop problems. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who they could be 2-2. They could have lost to the Patriots. I'm not fully sold on them yet, but they do look like they're getting better week after week, which is the sign of good coaching and growth in a team. But if you're Cincinnati, you haven't played Pittsburgh yet. Baltimore's collapsing. Kansas City got off to a slow start. The Texans got off to a really slow start. You're 2-2, and you have a shot to win your division now. If the Ravens are going to collapse and you're the Bengals, you have to feel like you can compete with Pittsburgh at least based on the offensive weapons you have. You have to feel like you could keep up with them. And if Joe Burrow has a shot to actually come back in December, you have to let him come back to a team that has a shot to make the playoffs. And Jake Browning has shown us through 2 weeks, not only is he not good enough, but he's fucking terrible. So
he's really bad.
Like he is like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins cannot be happy in this situation. And if you're the Bengals, you put so much stake in this year with Hendrickson on the 1-year deal and investing heavily in Chase and Higgins, that to throw it all away because you're not willing to trade for a better backup quarterback would be malpractice.
I mean, after they lost 48-10 to the Vikings, they should have been on the phone then. Like, and the thing is, I don't think their defense is that bad. This is absolutely horrible this year. I don't think it's as bad as we all thought it was going to be. I can say that they're good at this defense is good enough to help them win 10 games if they made the trade today. I can say that, and there's other quarterbacks out there, but you got to think like Jameis Winston or even Russell Wilson, any of the guys. Like, I mean, I've heard rumors about Kirk Cousins. I mean, they've been shopping Kirk Cousins potentially, any one of those guys. Like, you have the playmakers, man. Just get the ball there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bengals defensive stats now. They have been a bottom 10 defense, but it's not the worst thing in the world, I suppose.
You got to take it with a grain of salt, though, because they're always out there. The last two games,
that's fair. They've had to play a ton because, and not just the last two games. Like Joe Burrow got hurt in the first half of that second game, so they've had to deal with a lot of play of Drake Browning. He's committed a lot of turnovers while he's been out there. So the Bengals defense certainly could be decent enough. And I'll tell you what, as somebody who plays fantasy football, and we need to see Jameis with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I mean, just as a football fan,
bombs away.
I dead ass mean this, and I'm not being hyperbolic. With those weapons, I think Jameis Winston could break the NFL record for passing yards in a game. Yep. He came close last year. He came close last year on Cleveland against Denver. He had over 500 yards in that game. The record's like 550. I think he could do it, especially with that Bengals defense, man. Like they could put him in a shootout situation.
Yeah, it's not like Chase Brown has been Adrian Peterson running the ball either. They don't really have a run game this season, so
you have at least 50. You could stack the box against him because the quarterback's not a threat to do anything.
Yeah, and then he gets like 5 receptions for 25 yards. It's like he doesn't go that far with the ball anymore, man. They're loading up against him. But the Bengals definitely need to make a trade.
It's not a crazy long lesson that requires a lot of talking about, but it was one of the biggest things on my mind after this week of, man, the way that the AFC is playing out. Cincinnati is doing themselves a disservice if they don't go get another. I mean, even if it's Kirk Cousins, man, Kirk Cousins' money can't be worth it. But Mariota's been playing pretty well for Washington. If he's available, call up Philly. They have Tanner McKee and Sam Howell. You could probably get one of those guys. Obviously, Jameis Winston is the ideal candidate, but there's backup quarterbacks out there.
I mean, even the Browns still got 3 quarterbacks. I mean, great, that is in division, who knows?
Yeah, I doubt that the Browns would make the move. Could you get Jacoby Brissett from the Cardinals? I doubt it, just because of Kyler's injury history. But again, Jameis Winston's the 3rd-string quarterback in New York, and Jackson Dart lit the world on fire, and Russell Wilson's his backup. It
seems like a perfect
You could definitely at least get him or Russ, for sure. But that'll bring us to your last lesson from week 4. Let's hear it.
So my final lesson, and I think you're going to want to talk about this for a minute because it involves the Philadelphia Eagles. But one thing, the last thing that I learned, the biggest lesson, and honestly, this could shape the entire season and change the trajectory of the Eagles. I don't think A.J. Brown is happy being an Eagle anymore. I think he's kind of sick of it. I think he's kind of tired of it. I don't think A.J. Brown – I'm not going to say I don't think he's going to finish the season because Philly is just going to make him deal with it. But it's a problem. It's a big problem going on over there. And these freaking here damn targets that he's getting at the end of games, like having 1 target through 3 quarters. It's just crazy, man. And I get it's not like Saquon is going crazy out there. Is having a season like he did last year. Jalen Hurts is finishing a whole entire half of football with 0 passing yards. And I know every game is different. I'm just saying. I know one thing's for certain. I know one thing is for certain, and that's AJ Brown is not happy about it, and his tweets, whatever, he's trying to be quiet about it and not being quiet about it, but he just wants everyone to see how he's feeling. And I want you to talk about it for a minute, because I know for sure he's not happy.
Yeah, so we're not happy as Eagles fans. And I know that it's going to sound like, oh my God, this guy whose team is 4-0 and just won the Super Bowl is complaining. But I will say this. If you watch Eagles games, the offensive schemes have been bad. They're winning on pure talent and on the back of the defense alone. Like, they very easily could be 2-2 if Jahad Campbell doesn't get an interception off of Baker Mayfield at a timely time and Jordan Davis doesn't block a kick. Granted, they're playing good teams, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Buccaneers, and even the Cowboys are a frisky unit. They had CeeDee Lamb out there when we played them, so they were a little bit stronger than they are right now. But there is no excuse for not getting what I think many would clearly agree is a top 5 wide receiver talent in A.J. Brown the ball. And it took a little while last year for Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio to get going. When you bring in new coordinators, shit isn't just going to connect immediately always. But Kevin Patullo, my friend, you're on a very short leash. And if the Philadelphia Eagles have to pick between you and A.J. Brown, I pray to God they pick A.J. Brown. I will say this, for anybody that believes that A.J. Brown is going to be traded this year, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Maybe post this year where they could get draft capital for 2026 to draft a wide receiver to replace him. But there's going to be a time this year. Hell, there was a time already this year versus the Rams where they need A.J. Brown. And they can't replace him this season. There's no team that's going to be calling up for A.J. Brown that's willing to trade you a guy. Like, the Vikings aren't going to call and be like, we have A.J. Brown, we'll give you Justin Jefferson. Like, that phone call isn't coming. The best case scenario phone call that could come this year is the Patriots calling. And for some, Patriots fans, I don't know if you'd want to do this, but in terms of talent, Philly could get back this year Christian Gonzalez. I don't think that call's coming, but that would be the only call that I think Howie Roseman would maybe entertain if A.J. Brown was really like, I want out. Philadelphia is not going to trade him at this point in time when their roster is Super Bowl ready to get future draft capital. It is just poor management, and it's just not something Philadelphia does. However, if this season continues along this path and they're winning games, but A.J. Brown's only involved every third game, and the offseason comes, I could definitely see him asking for a trade. If he were to be traded, the dead cap hit this year is $16 million. They're not doing that again for all the reasons I explained, plus an additional money. His dead cap next year is $16 million. So ideally, the person they trade for would be on a rookie deal. That way they could kind of survive that. And then it's like 11-8 and stuff. So it's survivable to move him this offseason. Ultimately, I have a hard time believing you're an offensive coordinator in the NFL and you can't figure out a way to get A.J. Brown involved in offense. I have a feeling if they continue the offensive scheme that they're on, they'll start losing games and there'll be a change in play caller. And then A.J. Brown will get involved. Here's what I'll say. And I'm not calling A.J. a diva by any means. I understand A.J. wants to contribute to these wins. He's not contributing to these wins right now, and it's frustrating when you know how talented you are and you're not given the opportunity. Just like anybody at work that knows that they could do a job well and you don't get picked for that promotion or your boss doesn't notice you, that's how A.J. Brown feels. It will get better. I just have a hard time believing you can't get a talent like him going.
I mean, it's crazy, man.
That's what I have a very hard time believing that A.J. Brown can't get going. Maybe your Pittsburgh Steelers after the season trade for A.J. Brown and reunite him with DK Metcalf.
I mean, that would be insane. We got some edge rushers to throw away. It looks like Nick Herbig is gonna be pretty good.
What a wide receiver room that'll be for the rookie quarterback that's coming in, or Will Howard.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to fantasize about, man. I don't know. I think I can see him requesting a trade this season.
He
before the
can
trade
request
deadline?
he could request it.
Yeah,
I just think the answer will be no.
he probably
I
Jacoby
just
Myers
and
treatment.
again, I AJ's a professional. I think he'll do his job. I just again, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, it makes no sense when there's just not going to be a team that gives you your value back for
Yeah,
this season when you have a roster that's clearly ready to compete right now. This isn't a team that's like, oh, maybe they're a fringe wild card team and they'll sell and become like focused on tanking. Like it's just not a team that by any means is in that position. So when you ask me my thoughts on the AJ Brown situation, the Twitter tantrums are a little much for me, but I digress. It's the life of having a star wide receiver in the NFL, I suppose.
yeah,
I saw a lot of Devonta Smith appreciation tweets. He's not like my thing with AJ is nobody is involved in the passing game. AJ's the
yeah.
one, but Devonta Smith isn't doing shit either. So, like but that's why I'm saying it's clearly a systematic issue because
Yeah.
we know how talented those two guys are. So somebody is not scheming things correctly. Now, I will say this for Kevin Patullo. He had 2 games where he didn't do anything right. And then he had 2 games where he did things right for one half. Maybe we're doing the progression for a full good game.
That's not good for a Super Bowl contender. I could say that.
I know it's not good. You know what's crazier for the NFL? They're 4-0 against good
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
Imagine Philly starts playing good.
It's gonna get really scary. JaVon Campbell looks like he's gonna be the defensive rookie of the year. Like it doesn't even look close right now.
I mean, it has nothing to do with your AJ Brown lesson, but any shot to brag about the Eagles, I suppose. Howie Roseman went 2 for 2 on Quinyon and DeJean. Quinyon's a top 3 corner in football. I won't hear otherwise. And he went 2 for 2 on JaVon Campbell and Andrew McCouble. Hey. That's how you stay good in the NFL, man. You hit on your draft picks.
That is 100% true. But what I think what made it weird last year when the little AJ Brown drama for a couple of weeks happened is that Saquon Barkley was kind of having a generational season.
Yeah.
This year it feels like okay, like I already said this before. And I kind of let it slide because my boy was going crazy. This year, nobody's going crazy. So I feel like as the season progresses, I feel like his voice is going to get a little bit louder when he talks about the offense.
If things don't work itself out. Again, we went through this last year. Like you said, there was a stretch last year where AJ Brown said the passing game needs to be better. There was a stretch last year where he was reading a motivational book on the sideline. And then the team won the Super Bowl. I think Philly knows who they have in AJ Brown. I think that they know that, we have a star receiver who wants the ball a ton. And if he goes through stretches where he doesn't get it, he's going to complain. And I think they're really good about just brushing it off and not giving a lot of attention to it and not making things worse. You heard Sirianni talk about it, and he was like, we know AJ just wants to contribute to wins. We're going to, try and get him involved. AJ is a great guy. AJ loves Philly. We love AJ. Like they just know how to PR their way through this stuff until things get going again. And again, a month into the NFL season last year, there was some weird stuff going on. There always is. As there's less and less guys playing in the preseason, the first month of the NFL season becomes very sloppy. If AJ Brown still isn't involved by Thanksgiving, we'll have a big fucking problem. But for right now, I'm willing to give this some time to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, that was just my biggest lesson. I kind of see the beginning of the end, in my opinion, when it comes to that. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, if you told me AJ Brown gets traded this offseason, I would put that at way higher odds than he gets traded this season. And I think, listen, if they're going to be a run first team, they have Devonta Smith. You give him a draft pick to draft another receiver. I don't think it's an impossible theory to come to.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like this season is a little bit more weight on the Eagles, because the Packers, the freaking Rams added Devontae Adams.
My thing just is the Eagles beat these teams.
Yeah,
Not the
that is
Packers
true.
yet, but the Eagles beat the Rams and Buccaneers when not playing their best football.
That is true. That is true. But
So
playoffs
to
come
be fair, the
around, these
Buccaneers had
teams.
some injuries. I think all of these teams will get better as the season progresses. I
Yeah,
think that's the case for Philly too. And I think in the case of getting better for them, it's to have a better offensive scheme. I just feel bad for the team that it finally clicks against, because
yeah. It's
it's
probably gonna
gonna
be
look
an
it's gonna
ass
look like
team
it's gonna
too.
look like the Super Bowl. They play the Giants, by the way, twice over the next month. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, Jackson
We'll
Dart
see.
is gonna he's gonna have his welcome to the NFL moment pretty soon. I mean, this
We'll
last
see.
week he was okay, but
Yeah. So we will see. Those are our 6 biggest takeaways from week 4. Be sure to let us know your biggest takeaways from week 4 of the NFL season in the comment section down below. Again, be sure to let us know the name for this show, any ideas that you guys have. If you made it this far in the video, hit the like button. Check out JaVon's socials. They are linked in the description. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, hit that sub button. We will catch you guys next Wednesday for the 6 lessons we learned in week 5.
yes, sir.